The first of two military flights from Botswana is about to depart the Gateway International Airport en route to Gaborone, where the 45 remains of Botswana nationals who perished the day before Easter are bound home for their funeral service. These 45 died when their bus plunged into the Mamatakala Bridge and caught fire. There was only one sole survivor who received medical attention at the Polokwane hospital before she was repatriated back home to Botswana. So today we are seeing the closure of this chapter where the 45 deceased are being taken back. Their coffins are being loaded into this military flight. We understand it's the first of two, and the second one will carry the remaining 25. This first one will carry 20. But to speak more about the logistics around this, I'm joined by the Emissary of Health and Limpopo, Dr. Popi Ramatuba. Emissary, thank you so much for your time. You have been working to ensure that this process is finalized. Initially, as members of the media, we were cautioned to say it will be a lengthy scientific process, but just over a month after that fatal crash, we see the departed souls are being sent home to Botswana. Just take us through the steps that were followed to ensure that today happens as quickly as possible.
Firstly, we need to appreciate the fact that coordination, having the team that is competent to work on this has been the recipe or the reason we find ourselves here. If I'm to take you back, immediately when the accident was reported to us, I think it was 5 minutes past 11 if I don't mistaken, the first to respond on the scene were our EMS ambulances, who could only rescue one survivor. Then later the police arrived on the scene. Remember the bus caught fire. The rescue teams, which were multidisciplinary team. If I remember well, it was from SABC, from the EMS section of rescuing. Our forensic pathologist also, the unit was also there, even including the mine, had its own rescue team that came on board. It was a problem for all of us in the province before we even get to the national. After the remains were retrieved from the scene, they were handed over to us. It was 41 body bags. If you go back, you'll remember that we thought 9 could be identifiable, but when we did examination, we were left with 8, but when the Baruti came, we could only identify 6. So meaning the rest would have been subjected to the DNA sampling and also matching. But now, what is the key here is that we immediately, day one, establish a multidisciplinary team, which involves mainly the same Department of Health where forensic pathologists are situated, and I'm continuously referred to Dr. Mamashel. We had to bring on board the Forensic Science Laboratory where Surgeon General Muraudzi is in charge of them. That includes also the Forensic Victim Identification Unit, which is within his unit. That's where you talk about your forensic anthropologists. They are within there. Here you talk about the biological section, the actual people who are doing the DNA sampling. So all these teams were coordinated, doing work from our office as the Department of Health. And then you then have Home Affairs, which comes now to issue that certificate. So that team of scientists, because they were really understanding how this matter is, hence you see us, we are where we are.
And now, Emissary, we're standing in front of this Botswana chartered military flight, which will be one of two. Just take us through how many flights, how will they be transported? But also, there was a media query around who's covering the costs for this repatriation and the identification and all the costs involved since this crash happened.
Look, there are processes that are covered by the South African government. For instance, when there is a road accident, it is a crime scene which the South African police services must do an investigation, which means the SABC budget must cover some of those investigations. Now, as part of supporting SABC, these other 3 units that I've spoken about, our forensic pathologists, which help will cover for that work of postmortem and also getting DNA samples. There's also the biological a section of the DNA which falls within SABC. This is the work that needs to be done with South African government to try to investigate. The Road Traffic Management Corporation must also do an investigation as to why this has happened. Remember, when we do investigations, it's because we want to prevent future accidents so that they don't happen. We need to find the cause, and there's no way without forensic and all this work done that the police, those who are investigating the accident, will close up their case without that. So that portion, it's also our responsibility as South African government.